64 years old. I am getting up in years, and as we get older, our lifestyle gets more sedentary. Putting on the weight seems to become more pronounced as we age. So for me, I don't want to be old and sick. I want to be older and active.
Welcome to the Dr. Ashley Show.
Welcome to the Dr. Ashley Show. I'm Dr. Ashley, and today I get to share a really inspiring story with you all that I think will resonate with anyone who's ever faced daunting health challenges. Imagine being 64 years old and receiving a diagnosis of prediabetes and high cholesterol, both conditions that could easily spiral into lifelong battles with medication and lots of medical complications. Well, our guest today, PhD weight loss client Genine Chambers, is not only a Medicare insurance agent who understands the hefty cost of treating these diseases, but she's also someone who decided to take a stand against letting her health define her future. With a clear why rooted in her desire to avoid the path she sees so many of her clients take, Genine embarked on a transformative weight loss journey with us at PhD Weight Loss. She successfully dropped over 20 pounds and feels like she totally reclaimed control over her health. I want you to join us today as we explore Janine's incredible story of determination, uncovering the strategies she used to drop the weight and manage her health. This episode is packed with insights, motivation, and practical tips for anyone looking to make a change. So let's dive in. Genine, welcome to the show. I'm really grateful for you taking the time to be here with me today.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
I would love for you to share with us what motivated you to join PhD in the first place. What were your initial goals and what was your why?
I had been putting on weight very slowly over the last few years, and it was starting to catch up with me. Earlier in the first part of the year, I'd gone to the doctor, and for the first time in my life, he told me that I was pre-diabetic. My blood pressure at the doctor's office was like 158 over 90. My cholesterol was elevated. And I sell Medicare insurance. And in that role, one of my goals is to work with people to assist them in trying to get their prescription drugs at the lowest possible cost. So I talk to a lot of seniors that are diabetic, that are, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and things of that nature. And I see the medications they have to take. I see the cost that goes with that and the health ramifications that also follow that. And so when the doctor told me at age 64 that I was pre-diabetic, and oh, by the way, my mother's mother had been diabetic, full on diabetic, and died, with an enlarged heart, diabetes, etc. It was like the neon lights went off and I realized I have got to change some things. I've got to figure out a way to make this happen. And my neighbor had recently lost like 50 pounds. And of course, the obvious question is, how'd you do it?
That's right.
And he said, this great program, the Dr. Ashley, she's just amazing. And I said, wow, I need to look into this. And then when I heard about your credentials, I just said, okay, here's a lady that I think understands where I'm coming from. I've always struggled with keeping my weight off. And it's always been a battle. It's like I always felt like the type of person that if I had a sandwich, it seemed like I'd gain a pound, Yeah. It was like, really? And so I started looking into it. I looked you up on YouTube, saw some of your videos and stuff, and I thought, okay, this resonates with me. This is something that seems to be something I can do. And I've tried other things in the past that would work for a while, and then of course it would creep back up. But your program kind of squelched a lot of the misinformation, a lot of stuff that counter each other, cancel each other out. And I just kept thinking, this just doesn't make sense. I don't understand why this person's saying this is good and another person's saying it's not. I need to follow somebody and see if it works. Yeah. So, yeah. Sorry, that was probably probably more than you were asking for.
No, it's exactly what I was asking for. I
Okay.
want to keep asking about your story, but before I do, what are the costs that you commonly see with people you chat about Medicare with? I mean, what are those costs of those medications? Can you share that with us? I'd be interested in that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, when I put their prescription drugs into the system, it calculates it out and runs it against all the different plans that are available to them.
Mm-hmm.
So then I'm able to look at an overall cost and where I can try to reduce their cost, whether it's to change them from a brand to a generic or vice versa sometimes, which is ironic, but sometimes
Really?
it is, yeah, sometimes it is cheaper to go brand just because of different discounts and whatnot that are
Mm-hmm.
out there. But as far as the actual cost itself, individual drugs will vary depending on the Medicare plan that they're on and
Yeah.
also the dosage. For
Mm-hmm.
example, a 5 milligram of the same drug may be $5, and maybe a 10 milligram might be 50. So,
Mm-hmm.
that's where I can work with them to try and help them to, see those types of differences and see that, perhaps talking to your doctor about prescribing the 5 milligram instead of the 10 is a more cost effective way to do it and just take two instead of one or something of that nature.
Do you
So,
ever share with the folks you're chatting with that perhaps they should drop weight and that would save them all the money?
I
It's
would
not your
love to.
place.
It's not my place.
Yeah.
I think most people that are carrying the extra weight typically know it. I
But they
knew
don't
that
know
I
how
was,
to get it off, right? Just like you were saying, it's so frustrating and there's so much misinformation. That's why
there
I'm
really
so
is.
passionate about what we do because so many people want to get this weight off. They're
Yes,
miserable and they just don't know how. So I feel
com-
for these people on
completely
all these
agreed.
drugs. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so for you, back to you, you were nervous to get started a little bit, right? You were a little bit skeptical. And I'd
Yes.
love for you to share when you started with your coach at PhD Weight Loss, like what did you share with her? And I think there were a few things where you're like, I'm not giving these things up. I think it had to do with community, with your friends. Like, share a little bit about your skepticism and what were your non negotiables.
um, I live in my boyfriend and I, we bought a 55 plus community home a year ago, brand new
Okay.
community being built, and it's all about active lifestyle. So we do, like, for example, this afternoon we're doing something called flinking. It's
What's
floating
that?
and drinking in the pool.
No way. It's like at 2 o'clock we go flinking or something. I think I need to go into that community right now.
Oh my gosh, we have so much fun. We do pickleball, we do all kinds of stuff. We just have a blast. But so it was like, we have Wednesday wine and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and then of course, he and I had a 10-day cruise down in the Caribbean scheduled, which was last month, and I mean, I want to go and have fun and have the little cocktail drinks with the umbrella
Mhm.
on them, and and
Sure.
and I don't want to feel like I can't enjoy my vacations and my time here as well. And so, when I went on vacation, what I actually found was that by following kind of your guidelines in your program for the food portion of it, not 100%, but
Mhm.
you know, uh, within reason, um, and not going overboard with the drinking. I actually, at the end of the 10-day cruise, I had only gained a half a pound.
Well, there you go. And what would have happened in the past, do you think?
Oh, I would have easily put on 5 to 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Because you're just let it go. I'm on vacation
Mhm.
kind of mode, and yeah, so I was really excited when I got home and I saw that's all I gained. I said, okay, that was it. That was it.
And you still feel like you were able to enjoy yourself?
Absolutely.
What were the
Absolutely.
things that you did differently, would you say?
I mean, for one, watching the amount of food, right?
Mhm.
Stopping when you're full.
Yeah.
I grew up in a household where I was always told, clean your plate. There are
Hmm.
children starving in the world. And so, I stopped when I was full. I, instead of wanting to, oh, I'll have some of this dessert and some of that dessert. And believe me, they were beautiful.
Yeah.
I just want a bite and had a taste of it, maybe two at the most. And I don't need to have the whole thing.
Hmm.
Um, Things like that. So, making smarter choices off the menu when I was picking my food items, grilled chicken or a steak, with some vegetables, asking instead of having the mashed potatoes or the pasta with that steak, could I have a salad instead?
Hmm.
Things of that nature that you've taught me that it's okay to ask for
Yep.
and to do that, and it made a huge difference.
So still
Obviously.
enjoyable and
Yeah.
feeling confident about yourself during and after.
Absolutely.
Do you feel that your program was customized, tailored to you? Did you feel like you had support and accountability throughout your travels?
Not a great deal of customization because
Okay.
your principles worked for me.
Hmm.
I mean, there's some little maybe fine tuning here and there, but
Gotcha.
predominantly the overall plan it worked for me.
Hmm.
So, and I love it because it's something I can carry forward. No matter where I am in life or whether I'm on vacation or I'm at home or out at a restaurant. So.
Yeah. How do you feel that this program differed from what you've done in the past?
The biggest part is
Yeah.
accountability. Um, I have to say, without naming the program, there was a program that I did in the past,
Hmm.
and I would show up once a week to a meeting. And what I found was that if I had lost weight that week, I was happy to go. If I hadn't lost weight, it was, gosh, I've really got a few things I've got to get done. So I'll skip the meeting this week and I'll go next week.
Yeah.
And not having that accountability piece made the difference because it made me think twice about cheating. Or,
Hmm.
do I really need that piece of cake? No, I really don't, because I've got to talk to my coach in 2 days, and no, I really don't need it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not worth it.
Not worth it. Yeah.
So, you ate healthy, and I know you were aware of your health before
Yes.
you came to PhD. So, I'd love for you to share what you feel like were the most significant changes that you made to your daily routine. Because I hear a lot of clients come in like, I eat healthy. What are you going to do to change this up? And I'm like, just you wait. And I get really excited. But I'd love for you to share that with us.
Yeah, I would say one of the things that shocked me was that the low fat, non fat items
Mm-hmm.
were like no. And I thought, what? That seemed like didn't make sense, but
Mm-hmm.
obviously it's true.
Yeah.
The other one that shocked me was the grains. You know,
Mm.
because I've always been told, brown rice is good for you, quinoa is good for you, all those kinds of things. And it was like, wait, what? What do you mean those aren't good for me? My body doesn't need them. Are you sure?
Yeah.
So those were probably the two things that were like the biggest aha moments for me.
What about health changes? Did you feel any different? And then I know you were, as you said, you were struggling with pre-diabetes, high blood glucose, heartburn. Did any of those things change?
I'll tell you where I've really noticed it more than anything. I love playing pickleball, which I
Hmm.
mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
Pickleball means running around a court a lot.
it does.
And before I lost, and by the way, I lost a total of about 22, 23 pounds,
Okay.
which may not seem like a lot to some people, but it was huge for me.
Yeah.
When I was playing pickleball, I would be running around the court, and I'm not talking in these temperatures, I'm talking like winter temperatures.
Okay.
My friends would say, gosh, are you okay? Because I was like, just deep, heavy breathing, because carrying the extra 20 plus pounds around, it was obviously taking a toll on my body.
Mhm.
Now I'm running around the court and I'm not heavy breathing. I'm not panting, trying to get a breath. And my friends have even commented on that. They're like, yeah, I can tell you're losing the weight has made a big difference
Yeah.
in your ability to run around the court and play the game. So that's
Well,
really where I noticed it.
yeah,
Besides the
you're
clothes fitting
petite,
better.
That's right.
Yeah,
You're fitting better. You're petite. 20 pounds is a lot of excess stuff that you're holding on to and moving around. You
exactly.
know, you've probably heard this statistic, but every pound of excess fat weight we carry is about 8 pounds of extra force pushing through the foot,
Oof,
about 6 pounds of force pushing through the knee for every single pound, and
jeez.
about 5 pounds of force, 4 to 5 pounds of force pulling off the spine. So for you and being so petite, that's just a lot of extra force. So it
Yeah,
helped you build maybe some muscle, but now you can keep that muscle and drop that excess weight.
exactly.
You can wear a weighted vest if you really feel like you need that.
I love my weighted vest.
Do
It's only
you?
yeah, it's only a 5 pounder, but
Hey, that's great.
I didn't wear it today for the show, but
Well, you could have. A weighted vest is always welcome, Janine. You could
I
wear your
gotta,
weighted vest now when you go play pickleball.
yeah, mine's a hot pink one, so
Oh, that's cute. I love
it's got to
that.
be girly.
Yeah, that's right. Pink's my favorite color. So, hey there. Need extra support staying hydrated while shedding pounds and maintaining weight loss? Introducing Dr. Ashley's Electrolyte Plus, which I created just for this purpose. Packed with evidence backed ingredients like vitamin D, C, and zinc for immune support, B vitamins for energy, and a blend of full spectrum electrolytes and minerals to hydrate, stabilize glucose levels, and curb cravings. Visit drashleywellness.com and use code ASHLEY10 for 10% off your first purchase or 20% off your first subscription order with free shipping. Plus, enjoy a 30-day money-back guarantee. Back to the show. Well, will you share with us, if you're open to it, a little bit about the challenges that you went through? Because life did continue to happen as you were progressing through your program. And I know a lot of people out there listening to this are either in their own program or just, really wanting and on the fence to creating change in their life and their health, but maybe these things are happening. So would you share a little bit about what went on and how you were able to get through it and continue to be able to focus on your health?
When the doctor said pre-diabetic, I just that scared me.
I mean, during the program, I think you were in a car accident.
I was.
I think you had some friends dealing with health issues.
Hmm.
So those types of things can throw us off our game
True.
and not allow us to focus on ourselves as the priority. So how did you continue through that? How did you go through a major car accident and stay on track? How did you deal with the emotional aspects of your friends dealing with health issues and still take care of yourself?
Yeah. So basically, the car accident, my airbag went off, and man, it still almost brings a tear to my eye when I think about it, because when that hit me in the chest, I mean, it really hurt a lot. I was taken to the emergency room. I thought for certain, because I could hardly breathe, because taking in a deep breath hurt. I mean, excruciatingly. And I thought I had cracked ribs, sternum, something. I thought something in this area was cracked, and it took. Thank God it was nothing cracked, but it took about a week to recover from that.
Mhm.
During this whole process, which really started right after the first of the year, I've been through that. My mom is very sick right now as well. She doesn't live local. She lives in Boulder City,
Yeah.
Nevada. And, I worry about her. I've got a couple of girlfriends that are going through some major health issues right now. And, I feel like for me, I've got to focus. They always say when you're on an airplane that you put your own mask on first before you
Mhm.
help somebody else. And I've for some reason, that's kind of stuck with me. And, in order to be able to be there for my friends and family, I have to take care of myself first,
Mhm.
not in a selfish way, but, I have to keep myself healthy so that I'm there for my friends and family.
How
So,
did your coach, your nutritionist, Lori, did she help you get through these things? And if so, how do you think she helped you?
Lori's terrific. I will say, she is like, so bubbly and upbeat and positive and very eager to help and assist with ideas of how to customize things for you. I
Mhm.
mean, she's been, very instrumental and a pleasure to work with.
How did she help you get through the challenging times?
Just being there. So when I had questions, I was able to text Lori like pictures of products and stuff like that to say,
Yeah.
what about this? What do you think about this? We get back a thumbs up or a thumbs down or
Yeah, that's right.
and having that ability to check on something prior to purchasing it or consuming it is very helpful and very supportive. I'm very grateful to her for that type of support.
Yeah, even when traveling or dining out, it is really sometimes confusing on what to get, what to order. So
Very.
I really do believe having the support to navigate those things as you are establishing new habits
Yep.
and understanding that a lot of the information you had been given prior was misinformation. So it is kind of like starting fresh
Yep.
and creating these new habits, behaviors, and belief systems.
I will also say too that some of the tools that you have put together or your team has put together, like the dining, I forget what it's called, but
The
there's
dining out guide.
yes,
Yes.
very helpful, very
Yes.
helpful. And then there's another one too, and I can't remember what that one is called, but there's two of them that were really helpful in
Mm,
just trying to help to make decisions. And being on a plan like this does not mean you can't go out to eat, right?
right.
So having that freedom to be able to do those things, knowing if I'm going to have a drink, making the right decision instead of this sweet, maybe a pina colada, instead having a glass of wine is better. Things like that. So the tools, very, very helpful. Having that support system where I can check in, ask questions, very helpful.
I was actually just going to ask you how you navigate drinking alcohol while dropping weight. So is that primarily what you did, was going for the different choices in alcohol, more wine or hard liquor, and foregoing the sweet drinks? Were there any other changes that you made around it?
I mean, honestly, the first, I think it was about 8 weeks, I didn't have anything.
Yeah.
I really wanted to focus on getting the weight down quickly
Hmm.
because I knew I had an appointment with my doctor set up that I was
Oh,
trying
I like
to,
that.
right? I had a deadline.
Hmm.
And having that deadline, in my case, it was a doctor's appointment. I've got a friend that's got a wedding that she's going to that she wants to drop the weight for. So,
Hmm.
whatever your reason is, you've got to have goals and you've got to have, you might, at least for me, maybe for me, I do need those deadlines in order to focus on that. That's why I said the weekly check-in call is another
Hmm.
deadline on a weekly basis.
That's
So
right.
they
During the
make
first
me,
8 weeks, when you let go of alcohol, was your weight loss faster than when it was back in the program?
yeah,
Yeah, it's
definitely.
interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, and even now, honestly, if I have a drink, once or
Mhm.
twice a week, that's usually all I have at this point.
Yeah.
So, the other thing too is I've learned that going out, you don't have to have a drink. Quite frankly,
Mm-mm. I
it's
know.
it's okay to ask for a seltzer water and a lime twist, in it, and you know
Yeah,
you you still look like you're having a fun drink.
that's right. Yeah, I do think more and more that people are letting go of alcohol, actually, the more they come
Yeah,
in tune with their health. And I share this knowledge during the program with alcohol. You can drink with it just like you did, Genine. And
Yes.
it's not about the calories. It's the fact that when we take in alcohol, it slows the liver. The liver is where fat burn happens. So it's just going to slow the process of fat burn. And that's most often why we see the slowdown in weight loss. So it still will happen. And the amount of slowdown varies with each individual. So the fellow who had dropped 50 pounds with us, maybe he could drink a little more and still lose weight, or maybe not. So it does take some trial and error as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I've always been that person that, I look at bread and I gain weight. So I
Mm-hmm.
just,
I'm the same way.
yeah,
Bread and nuts.
yeah, I picked that up on your webinars and I was like,
Uh-huh.
okay, she can relate to me.
That's right. So true.
Yeah.
So, what would you share with, let's start with those who are dropping weight right now? Maybe they're feeling bored or they're feeling deprived or restricted. They're just over it. Do you have any advice for these people?
I think some of it is a mind shift because I look at this as not being on a diet, but rather um, this is a healthy way of eating for the rest of my life in order to stay healthy.
Mhm.
As I mentioned early on, I'm 64 years old. I am getting up in years, and as we get older, our lifestyle gets more sedentary, and the putting on the weight seems to become more pronounced as we age. And so for me, I don't want to be old and sick. I want to be older and active.
Mhm.
And in order to stay older and active, because I've already seen glimpses of what it might be like if I put weight back on,
Yeah.
and I don't like that. I don't like the way I feel when I'm heavier. I like being able to get out and play a couple of rounds of pickleball with my girlfriends or,
Mhm.
mixed doubles or something of that nature. I'm not able to do that as well if I'm heavier. And like I said, the health risks that come with it are just not worth it to me.
Mhm. What about any advice or thoughts for those who are on the fence to making change and they're nervous or skeptical, potentially like you were? What would you tell them?
You have to figure out what your why is, you
Mhm.
know? And my why was my health. And everybody close to me in my life knows that's why I did it. I wasn't doing it for vanity. I mean, there a little bit maybe,
Mhm.
but that was just a very small amount of the reason I did it. It was really the fear of being sick.
Mhm.
And, you've got to really get to a point where you're ready to make a commitment to yourself. And if you're not ready to make that commitment to yourself, and you want to keep snacking on chips and dip and all the things that are just not serving you, mindlessly eating is the way I kind of look at those types of things now, which is what I used to do. I'd go to a party and I'd be like, oh well, I have some of the chips and I'll have some of this and I'll have some, and it wasn't because I was hungry. It's listening to your body and saying, am I hungry? Am I eating because I'm hungry, or am I eating because I'm bored? And if the answer is I'm eating because I'm bored, walk away. Don't do it.
Mhm. Yeah. And what is your plan for keeping this weight off?
Continuing to be diligent, with not excessively drinking, not snacking late at night. Those were some of the things I've had to kind of rein back in.
Mhm.
Stopping when I'm full instead of eating everything on my plate. Making healthier meals. I will say one of your recipes, it has cabbage and sausage. Oh
Yes.
my goodness, that is like
Good,
one of
right?
our household favorite dishes. It
Mine
is
too.
so tasty and so
Yeah.
simple, you know?
Mhm.
And so, I could have that. I could make that at night, or I could make, a number of other dishes that you maybe have like a honey glaze and stuff like that. But they're both delicious. So why not pick
Mhm.
the healthier dish?
Right. Lifestyle. It sounds like it keeps coming back to just a different lifestyle.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Genine. I'm really proud of you and want to
Thank
offer
you.
you a huge congratulations because creating change isn't easy.
No,
And the best plan only works if you work it. I always say that. And you had to work it with lots of stress and travel and lots of fun things too, which is, it's hard to drop the weight with celebratory fun things as it is with stress, you
absolutely.
know? So is there anything else that you'd like to share with us?
Not that I can think of, other than, I love your program. It works. It makes sense to me now.
Good.
At the beginning, I wasn't 100% sure,
Yeah, you're like,
but
what did I just do?
yeah. One other thought is that, my initial thought was the cost was pretty high, but when I looked at the cost of the prescription drugs for diabetes and what, that path would entail versus the cost of your program, I just thought it's cheap in comparison.
Yeah.
So it was worth every penny.
Mm.
I will just say that it was worth every penny. I'm very glad that I've done this and learned everything that I have through you. And I'm continuing to still learn bits and
That's right.
pieces along the way. So
I am too, Genine, right there with you.
work in
Mastery never
progress.
ends. That's right. And we're here with you to keep the weight off for good too. So congratulations, Genine. And thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for sharing these important words with others. I'm grateful for you.
My pleasure.
Thanks for tuning in. I hope that you got a lot of great information from this episode with Genine. Motivation, practical strategies, all of it. If you're listening to this on a podcast platform, please leave a review. And if you're watching this on YouTube, drop a comment below. Show Genine some love. Congratulate her for stepping up and making the change because we all know it isn't easy. As always, if you have any questions for me, drop those in the comments as well. Remember, you've got to step up to make the change. Lead with your heart, train your mind, and do not negotiate with your body. I'll see you next time.